The rain from chapter 15 has finally cleared, yet Hina's tears won't stop falling within this chapter of sadness and beauty. Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Zillia, and today let's talk all things chapter 16 of the Blue Box manga series. And like I said, this chapter was very emotional, and once again we focus on the character of Hina. So without further ado, let's just dive right into the review and talk about all of the points of topic. So to start off with, I really liked the straightforward approach Hina took to finding out the situation. Asking straight away what's going on not only helps to progress the plot moving forward, but also shows courage from Hina's character, making it a bit more realistic later on down the road when Hina finally confronts her true feelings and confesses to whoever she needs to confess to, whether that's Taiki, whether that's Chinatsu, or whether that's Kyo, the other friend. So this display of courage shows that Hina possesses the ability to try and confront something, even if that thing is difficult. She was already feeling sad, and the situation could have gotten much worse for her character. Imagine if the answer to the situation was, "Oh yeah, we've actually been secretly dating. Sorry we didn't tell you, Hina." Hina would have been absolutely crushed by that revelation if that was the case. But instead, she took that chance and found the answers, avoiding days or even weeks of emotional torture and pain, of the unknown. Of course, if Hina hadn't asked, the question in her mind of what is the situation, what is going on, that would have tormented her throughout her day constantly. So I'm really glad that she took that straightforward approach and just asked the situation and felt comfortable in doing so, even if it was just a spur of the moment bit of courage that built up inside of her. However, one thing that Hina does struggle to confront is her own feelings, and this is abundantly clear within the chapter. From this chapter and many other segments in chapters before, it's clear that Hina really does have feelings for Taiki, and could hold some form of feelings of jealousy towards Taiki and Chinatsu's relationship that they display. This chapter helps to reinforce that idea of jealousy as well, based on the whole kindred spirits and the fact that they live together and they're both shooting for nationals. Hina, throughout this chapter, came to understand the supportive nature of Taiki and Chinatsu's relationship, and by the end of this chapter, she was crying. Now, I'm not saying that those tears were solely related to her feelings towards Taiki, or even her feelings of jealousy towards their relationship. I think Hina crying here was, well, it had elements of that aspect, but it also was more to do with her needing some emotional support. Because the emotional complexity and depth of Hina's character, it goes really deep. And I'm going to try and explain it the best that I can, so here we go. Hina currently has so much pressure on her shoulders from many different people expecting her to perform well. People even think that she's going to get first place in nationals based on her abilities at the rhythm gymnastics. And you know what, from what we've seen so far, she's highly skilled in her field of sport. So how can we blame them for expecting and having those expectations? But with those expectations comes that pressure, comes that fear of failure, and Hina is dealing with that while also dealing with her own personal feelings. And it can get a bit too overbearing for the best of times. But then how does Hina respond to those expectations that people have of her? Well, she simply fuels them by boasting, saying things like, "Well, of course, because I am Hina Chono." And in reality, she's not perfect, like everyone is praising her for being. People around her are blinded by her dazzling performances, to the point where she can't receive any constructive or useful feedback about how to improve her own performance. She has to do everything herself. Hina even knows that she isn't being perfect, that her timing is a bit off, and she's trying her best to improve it. But these distractions of the emotional conflict with her and Taiki, and with all the pressure and expectations on her shoulders, this is causing her to have some issues in presenting the best possible performance she can do. And she knows this. This is what she's trying to overcome. But it comes by suppressing her own emotions. And this can only be a problem in the future. Like I said, this means she has to deal with her own issues herself. And it's clear from this chapter that that's getting harder and harder for her to do, especially when all of this emotional things start to surface. But Hina isn't innocent in this situation, as her pride might be her downfall. Hina has a lot of pride. We can tell that by her dialogue that she presents in each and every chapter and panel that she displays herself in. But is this pride preventing her from developing and moving forward, in making it more difficult for her to ask for help? Again, meaning that she has to deal with every situation herself because of those expectations and that pressure that everyone has of her. She feels like her pride plus those expectations means she can't be vulnerable in front of somebody else. Another key element / action Hina does to hide her feelings, this time hiding her feelings for Taiki, is whenever she's around him, she's always acting rather jokey and playful. Now, this doesn't always mean that somebody else likes another person just because they joke a lot around somebody else. However, her actions within this chapter, like adding the books onto Taiki's legs as a punishment, and teasing him by saying things like, "Oh, are you hiding something from me again?" This gives off, obviously, that cheeky expression that she has when she says that line, but she's being very playful. It's like she wants to say something, but she chooses not to. Instead, she chooses to turn everything into a joke and make off the fact that she's just friendly. She's just being happy and joyful around him, and that's enough. But is it enough? Now, another example of Hina showing feelings for Taiki in this chapter was when she first sees him after her practice. She takes a break, but her face lights up with so much joy, so much happiness once she sees him sitting there alone. But once again, she suppresses her emotions, almost as if feeling bad or guilty for being happy seeing her friend sitting there. Obviously, we know that Hina wants to be the supportive character to Taiki and Chanatsu's relationship. But in Hina's mind, does she feel like she has a right to also be happy when around Taiki? Is this the kind of emotional, mental complexity that we've got for the character, and a hurdle that she's going to have to overcome? Saying, yes, I can be a supportive friend to what my friend wants in life in terms of a partner, but I can still also try and have feelings for him as well, and try to impress him and win him over in the future. I feel like that's something that Hina could come to terms with and try and do, but we just have to wait and see how it goes. Hina, at the end of the day, does deserve to be happy. She needs some happiness in chapters to come, and I'm hopeful that she gets it. Honestly though, with the next few chapters, Hina does need to confess her own feelings. To someone, anyone it is, it doesn't really matter, she needs to tell someone. As this is going to continue to eat away at her character and cause her even more pain, mentally and physically. It might even damage her chances of going to nationals. You know what? I can actually see a situation occurring in where she's trying to try out for nationals, she's doing her performance, and she slips over, thanks to a lack of concentration. She's mentally distracted. She's got all those emotions about Taiki going on in her mind and whether or not it's okay to pursue him. And she's got all those expectations and pressure pushing down upon her for people, expecting her to do great things. And of course, her pride is getting in the way of that as well. So this causes her to slip up. We could have a situation similarly to where Hina falls over. Like we saw in that flashback where Taiki catches her and injures himself in the process. But instead, no one is around to catch Hina. She falls in front of many people, many spectators, leaving the crowd shocked as the butterfly, with so much potential, collapses and fails in front of everyone. This obviously would be a massive blow to Hina's character and would kind of serve as a wake-up call, being the fact is that Taiki would see this and try to confront Hina and find out the reason as to why she slipped up or how she slipped up, and we could get that emotional kind of confession. I think that would be an awesome way to do things, although it means we gotta hurt Hina a little bit more, but she can grow massively and develop brilliantly if we do a situation like that. Of course though, I'm still rooting for Hina to be happy at some point, but I'm still more towards the Chainatsu and Taiki relationship still being the main focus. Nevertheless though, this was a brilliant chapter. It was heartfelt, it was sweet, it was emotional, it was also very sad. I can't wait to see what happens next in the couple of weeks chapters to come as things play out for Hina, and again, hopefully she gets some happiness because she deserves it. Who knows, maybe Kyo might actually help her out and ask her what's going on, because he's been noticing a few things, like in chapter 15, he notices a change of expression and attitude from Hina in their conversation in the cafeteria. So we never know, he could be the MVP once again, just like with the aquarium situation. And finally, as a side note, I do want to say that banner we got on the Shonen Jump website with all of the kind of Shonen Jump characters from different mangas chasing after the flag. I love seeing China Tzu playing volleyball on the beach there. That just looks really amazing. I wanted to add that in because I thought that was a bit of coolness. But I want to know your thoughts and opinions on this chapter in the comment section down below. If you agree with anything or disagree with anything that I've said in the video, make sure you let me know and we'll have a conversation about it. Why not? And I do hope you've enjoyed the review. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And of course, I'll be seeing you next time. Have a great day. Alligator, matane. Goodbye.